We want to demonstrate practical the way it should be done. Equilibrium of forces. A body is in equilibrium if it remains at rest, or if it is moving in a straight line, it must be going with a constant speed. That's number one. Number two, if that body must not rotate at all, or if it is rotating, it must be rotating with constant angular velocity. Resultant force. Resultant force is that single force which, acting alone, will have the same magnitude and direction with two or more forces acting together. Now, equilibrium of two or more forces is that single force taken together is equal to the magnitude and direction but opposite to the resultant force. This is the diagram of equilibrium of forces. This is F1, 3 Newton, F2, 4 Newton, F3, which is the equilibrium, is 5 Newton. Now, triangle of forces. The principle of triangle of forces states that if there are forces in equilibrium, they can be represented in both magnitude and direction, and is represented by the three sides of a triangle in order. These are the three sides of a triangle, and these are three forces. One is represented with AB, another one is represented with AC, and the last one is represented by BC. Moment of a force about a point is the turning effect of the forces about that point. It is equal to the product of the forces and perpendicular distance from the point of action to the line of action of that point C. Moment is force times perpendicular distance. That is, M is F times perpendicular distance. Condition for equilibrium under the action of parallel coplanar forces. Coplanar forces are those forces that lie in the same plane. Parallel forces are forces whose line of action are equal and parallel to each other. This is the diagram of parallel coplanar forces, represented by a straight line with an arrow at the end to show that it is effective quantity. Now, this first one is forces. The sum of the upward forces must equal to the downward forces. These are the upward forces moving upward. These are the downward forces. These three forces moving upward must be equated to these three forces moving downward. Moment. The total clockwise movement of the forces about any point on the body must be equal to the total anti-clockwise movement of the forces about the same point. When you pull this force, you want to take moment of these forces, and you take moment about FA. This FA will be static. Then you continue to pull this one down. When you put FB down, the time will come that it will move in clockwise direction. That is the direction at which the clock is moving. This is a clock 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So clockwise direction we normally use positive. If now take moment about FB, that FB will be constant and continue to pull FA. The time will come that we move towards the negative anti-clockwise direction. So now there is an essential condition for equilibrium of forces, that is mass or weight of the beam or machine must act at the center of the beam or machine. It must act downward at the center of the beam or machine. Condition of equilibrium under the action of non-parallel coplanar forces. Non-parallel coplanar forces are forces whose line of action are arranged at a given angle to one another. If they are more than two, to each other, if they are more than two, the two non-parallel forces can be resolved into horizontal and vertical component, and this one will result in the resultant forces. Now, forces. The sum of all the forces acting on the body must be equal to 0. That is, sum of the horizontal component of the forces must be equal to 0, and sum of the vertical component must also be equal to 0. These are examples of non-parallel coplanar forces. This T1 is at angle 50 to the horizontal. This is T2. This is T3, 100 Newton. So, in order to get T1 and T2, we have to resolve it. We bring this T2 to this part AB, and we bring this 100 Newton to this AC. Bring T1 to be at the hypotenuse. So in order to get T1, we are going to use Socatua in trigonometry and Pythagoras theorem in mathematics. Our AC, you can see, is 100 Newton. And our AB, that is T2, will be T2 all over 100. If you use this angle 40, T2 all over 100 will be opposite all over adjacent. So AB, which is equal to T2, will equal to 140.